Hi guys, and welcome to this video tutorial on how to get started with long exposure nighttime photography. Now, the video is in two parts. Part one is where I show you the camera settings, and what ISO means, what it does, and also the f-stops and bulb function in the camera. Now, the second part is going to be where I show you some of the pictures I took 4 nights ago. The pictures didn't come out perfect, but they'll do the job of explaining how I did it. And I'll also show you some pictures where I used a flashlight to light paint some of the images. So I hope it will be helpful, and if you got any questions, let me know and I'll try to get back to you. Let's go to the camera settings. Okay, I'm going to show you the setup. Now ISO, what is ISO? Well, ISO is how sensitive your sensor will be to light. So for example, if we take a picture now, it's gonna come out pretty dark. If we change the ISO setting on the camera for, like, let's say 800, the sensor in the camera will be much more sensitive to light. That means it will be much lighter picture. This again means the higher ISO setting you use during night photography, the less shutter time you need. So this was one way to control this, your shutter time. Now, the second thing you can control, I'll just pop this back. The second way to control how much light hits the sensor is the f-stop. A low f-stop will mean that now this lens, this lens will only go to 3.5 because it's a kit lens. Now a good lens will be at 2.8 or less. But the f-stop, what does it mean? Well, it means the aperture, or you can compare the aperture to the iris in the human eye. A small f-stop number means a large aperture opening, which again means it lets in a lot more light to hit the sensor, again reducing your shutter time. Now if I take a picture now, again like I just did, it will come out pretty bright, you know, compared to the next one. Because if I go and change, like for example to f11, now the f-stop is a larger number, but the aperture or the iris has closed. Now that means less light will hit the sensor. Again, that will increase your shutter time. Now this is much darker because the shutter speed was pretty much the same, but the aperture was different. So a large f number like f11 will let in less light, again increasing your shutter time. Now third thing, if you want to shoot at nighttime, go to the function called bulb. What bulb means is it will let you control how long the shutter is open. I'll show you. I'll just change the f-stop to 5.6. Now I'll show you how it works. Bulb means when you press the shutter release button, it will open into the sensor like this, and when you release it, it will close like this. Now I just pushed and let go, like pretty much like a normal picture, pretty dark. Now I'll press and hold it and release 2-3 seconds later, like this. So it keeps the camera shutter open, so you see a much brighter picture. This is important when you do bulb or night photography, because it will let you control the shutter speed completely. Now a good way to do this and control this is by using a remote control. I'm using this, a Nikon something, and it works on some cameras and some it don't. Last thing to notice, to notice is if you got an autofocus lens, take the autofocus off, because in the dark you can't focus, the camera can't focus on anything, so it'll just keep searching back and forth, back and forth. The VR, take it off, because it can actually disturb the image with some movement. So manual focus and VR off. Because you're using a tripod, always use a tripod. You can't handhold the camera using bulb, because it will blur out the picture completely. Now, then how do you focus? Well, you can use a flashlight and light some subject in the foreground and focus on that. But rule of thumb, some lenses will have a window here to show you where the focus is. What you want to do is go from somewhere, but just go all the way to infinity, and then just a tad back, just a little shy of infinity. That will get your picture in focus. That's pretty much how to set up the camera. Now I'll show you some of the pictures and explain how I did it.
Okay, first image from that night. This is actually pretty decent. You see the stars are pretty stationary, and that's pretty much the look I wanted. The reason for this being so bright is because the moon was out and was very, very bright. Now, if you see this entrance part of the bunker, it's totally washed out and totally black. So on this second picture here, I used a flashlight to light paint the bunker, and actually I used a little bit shorter exposure time. So just light painted across the bunker with a flashlight, and you see the details in the entrance compared to the first picture without the flashlight. And it also kind of makes the bunker pop out on the image. Now, this image I used 2 light sticks, just placed them in the entrance, and the funny thing was, when I was out there, I could hardly see the light myself. But because the exposure time on the camera is so long, it actually picked up the colors and the light very, very well. So I'm pretty happy with that. Now, another thing I'm not that happy about is, if you see here, the stars are streaking across the sky. Now, the reason for this is because the exposure time is so long that the camera is actually picking up the Earth rotation. So if the longer exposure time you have, the more streaking you will get on the sky, and that can make some really, really cool pictures if that's what you want. But this night I wanted the stars to be as still as possible, so you have to adjust your exposure time accordingly using the things I showed in the settings part. The next picture, same as the last one, but again highlighted the bunkers with a flashlight, and the stars are streaking, so it's pretty much the same picture though. But I actually prefer this picture. I think that's, you know, it just makes it cooler. Last picture I'm going to show you again. Very quickly highlighted the bunker to make it pop out, and the green light you see in just on the edge here is actually because I forgot to take out the green light stick inside. Now, again, how do you pick up on the star streaking? I didn't see it because I was stupid, but a good idea is to use your LCD screen on the camera. Now, if you just look at the LCD screen as I did, you wouldn't probably not pick this up. However, if you zoom in on your LCD screen, you'll pick this up right away, and you can adjust your settings accordingly. So I'm actually giving some advice I didn't use myself. That's why we call it trial and error. So, and I'm by no means a pro. Anyway, guys, I hope you find this video helpful, and if you got any questions, let me know, and I'll try to answer the best I can. Cheers, thanks for watching.